I spent too much time worrying about whether I was qualified, whether I belonged in the room sometimes, whether I was making the right decisions. And the truth is that growth comes from taking chances. So I would trust my intuition sooner. I'd remind myself that not every setback is a failure. Sometimes things that don't work simply are redirecting you towards something better.
Welcome to this episode of Bits by Bacon. I am your host, Misty, and I'm super excited about my guests today. Joining me is Senior Loan Officer specializing in complex financing scenarios, also known as the Mortgage Wrangler, Michelle Walker, and my friend, Lisa Coleman. Having started her career as a loan officer, she now leverages that deep understanding of the process to now help agents and loan officers from start to finish, but transitioning into a more marketing role. Thank you, ladies, for joining me today.
You're very welcome.
Thank you for inviting us.
Fun.
Okay, Lisa, I want to start with you. So having been an LO or a loan officer for, I think we said 28 years, 29 years now.
29 years.
You've transitioned into more business development. So what does that look like for you, and how has that transition been for you?
Oh, it's been interesting. The transition has been interesting. I think the biggest thing was going from helping individuals get into their home, like each individual family get into their home, into a broader, a bigger picture where I work as a team and I'm able to help hundreds more families. You know, that
right.
to me is still doing and in line with what I want to do, but on a bigger scale. So yes, it hasn't been a difficult transition though. It's been a lot of fun.
Good. And then Michelle, how long have you been in the mortgage industry?
Oh gosh, I'm aging myself. 1996, so I'm on year 30.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So let's hear about your kind of specific area and expertise. How did you get your name, the Mortgage Wrangler, and tell us a little bit about your expertise.
God, I've literally done just about everything. One of the things I love most about this industry is the variety. I've helped clients finance everything from manufactured homes, unique properties, dome homes, rural farms, ranches, condos, just about everything that you can imagine. I love to help with different types of property, including, rural living is obviously my passion and my specialty. I just have a deep understanding of rural properties. I live on a rural property with unique financing challenges and presenting, the difficulties and all of that. It just allows me to, guide buyers through the process with a lot of confidence. So
for sure. And then the name, tell us about the Mortgage Wrangler.
The Mortgage Wrangler name. So my 13-year-old little daughter rodeos competitively in junior rodeo, and I just wanted to come up with something catchy and memorable and came up with the Mortgage Wrangler. I am known for, the rural and acreages with, homes with arenas and having cattle, even hobby farms, residential hobby farms, but that's just kind of what I came up with as a catchy name because of my lifestyle.
So fun. Well, and in your honor, I went to a builder. A builder was having an open house for realtors, and so I got to stamp. I didn't stamp
cute.
it. The guy stamped it, but we got to decorate it. My feather fell out on the way to my office, but I had a feather.
It's super cute. I love it.
So one thing I want to caveat on that, and one thing I'd love about Michelle and her area of expertise is her ability to navigate the properties that aren't straightforward. So acreage, horse properties, hobby farms, all those homes come with unique challenges. And understanding those properties and having a person that is, knows all the lending guidelines is unique in that's really one of the things that I love about her expertise in the area that she shines.
For sure. And appraisals too. Like I haven't met with an appraiser yet on the show, but I just sold a property in Willis, Texas, which is north of Houston. And I was pulling comps. They were pulling comps, and, it ended up it worked out, but it's unique because it had a barn. It's right next door to industrial. Like it's not like your cookie cutter home in a subdivision where everybody's the same. You just look at square footage. Do they have a pool? Do they not have a pool? So yeah.
Yeah, you have to
A lot
navigate
of work
those a
goes
little
into
bit
it.
different. Yeah, for sure. You have to navigate those differently. I've been doing manufactured homes for 30 years. Guidelines change often on those, but I know those inside and out. So that's a big help too.
For sure. Okay, Michelle, how did you wrangle in Lisa for it to be on your team?
Lisa, I'm wondering, you should probably start out with this one, but yeah. Oh, well, go ahead.
Go ahead. Or do you want
Okay.
me to? Okay, I'll answer it. Do you want me to answer that?
Well, we were talking about it the other day, and it was just kind of, I don't know, meant to be on how we got together and started talking about mortgages and realizing her area of expertise on what she wants to get in now would really complement what I am looking for and honestly what I'm lacking. I'm good with the loans and I'm good with the pre-qualification, and that's where I want to concentrate on. And I needed somebody to manage me and social media and so we just kind of started collaborating and realized what a good team we were going to be. But I'll let Lisa give you the background on how we actually met and got together, I guess, where it all began.
Where it all began. So I moved to Arizona and met Michelle shortly afterwards. At that point in my life, I stepped away from the mortgage industry for about a year and kind of tried to figure out what God had for my next chapter. I knew I wanted to work remotely. That was really important to me, obviously, because I was in the middle of nowhere. So I was introduced to Michelle. We connected immediately and just started talking shop like mortgage people do. But we also realized that we had a lot of the same. Yes. And we realized that we had a lot of the same values, a lot of the same. We were kind of really aligned in how we treat our customers, what we do. And it kind of gave me that little bit of fire of, okay, I miss the mortgage industry. I do want to get it back into that. But what does that look like? I didn't want to rebuild I didn't want to rebuild new in Arizona, coming from Houston and working here for 29 years. So Michelle said, well, I'm thinking about adding to my team and let's talk about it. So we sat down one evening and probably talked for a couple hours and said, yeah, this is a thing. Let's do this. I think what makes our partnership special is we each bring decades of experience, slightly different perspectives. We challenge each other, support each other. We work together to create what the experience is going to look like for the clients and referral partners. So combined, we bring 60 years of mortgage experience combined. I think personally,
that's some wisdom. Yes, that's some wisdom for sure.
Yes. Collaboration, we find solutions.
I really liked the idea that she had been a loan officer and was successful. She knew what I was going through, what I needed, what the clients needed, what referral partners needed. She knew. So I didn't have to show her any of that. And she knows exactly what is expected and what it, creates success, I guess. So yeah, we're a good team.
So we didn't talk about this, but just real quick. So our audience may not necessarily know what a loan officer is versus marketing versus all the things, right? The escrow, all the things. So just real quick. So an LO, a loan officer or a loan originator, they actually are the ones that are receiving the application, doing all the paperwork, all the details, nuances. Don't spend this, do spend this, send me this, don't send me that. But a lot of loan officers are doing the marketing themselves. They're having to go to all these networking meetings, all these things. And so you are limited to how many contracts or clients you can work with at a time. So Lisa, since you've made that transition, let the audience know and feel and understand like how hard the LOs work, but then you're lightening the load. And you did say it earlier, you're able to do more. But just share a little bit about that because that you are doing, you've done both sides. So you've done the LO and now you're doing the marketing. Just share your experience. I know you obviously enjoy that. You are a people person. So just share about the differences so people can understand all the nuances that go into being an LO versus just going and drumming up, bringing in new clients, meeting with new clients.
So, yes. So being an LO, you spend a lot of time in your office focused on the details of the loan process. You're talking to clients. Since COVID, we actually have done a lot of things via Zoom, via phone, but you still need that personal connection, that
Right.
builds trust. You need to go out and meet realtors. You need to go out and meet your clients. You need to, be part of that because
Sure.
that's how you get not only get your name out there. We've been doing this for so long that we have a lot of connections and a lot of contacts. But with social media entering the picture,
Sure.
there's a lot of people who don't, just pick up the phone and or Google. They don't look for that anymore. They're on social media. They're looking for
Right.
the person who's going to do their loan on social media based on their knowledge or what they've seen.
Right. Sure.
So that there's a little bit of a transition when it comes to loan officers now. We have to do, I say we, but we have to do everything. You have to do social
Mhm.
media. You still have to do the in-person. You still have to do all of the loan stuff. And when you've got a file that's blowing up, and you've got
Mhm.
a situation that you need to handle right away, that networking event that you needed to be at is no longer important, but
Correct.
you
Correct.
absolutely need to be at that networking event because that's where you solidify those relationships. That's where
Mhm.
you know, get your new business from. It's a one-man
Correct.
shop normally when it comes to LOs. There are LO assistants, but Michelle is very hands-on. She
Yes.
wants to be the one. Like I can start the app, I can talk to the clients, I can do all of that because I'm very knowledgeable in that area. But Michelle is the one who takes it, from that contract to closing. And she's very hands-on, very detailed. She's all up in it. And she doesn't like to give up
Is
control. So
I was just going to say that comes with a little bit of control issues.
yes. So the beauty in our partnership is I'm taking she's in there and she's working the files and
Mhm.
she's, picking up the phone. She's talking, I'm kind of the liaison between all the connections. So the networking, along with the fact that Michelle is in Arizona, I'm in Texas, she covers a large area. So
Right. Yeah.
what better timing or what better way to do this than to have your business development partner in another
Mhm.
state being able to develop the business there so I can be here, she can be there, and you get two people with 30 years of experience each
Right.
as a
Right.
team. I can't imagine where it's not a better situation.
For
It's,
sure.
it's worked out really well for us because we both bring a lot to the table when it comes to making sure that the clients are taken care of and the business partners are taken care of. So if Michelle can't pick up the phone and call a realtor to give them the status on the file, I can with
Right.
the
Right.
knowledge that I have, and the
Right.
experience, you know, that's
And we
what
work
makes it.
very similar. Like we have very similar ways that we work. So how we created our process and, all the way from start to finish is very dialed in. Uh, we both work the CRMs. We have multiple CRMs. We have a, lead tracker. So as far as, if you're getting somebody, a credit challenged person, and I've put them on
Mhm.
a credit plan, they don't go by the wayside. It's not here,
Right.
good luck. It's,
Right.
my calendar pops up and, either every, whatever the plan is, every 30 days, 60 days, we're following up and making sure they're still on track and
For
keeping
sure.
them on a good plan for the future so that, they've got they know exactly what they're doing to get into a home in the future.
That's awesome.
So,
And so with unique
yeah.
properties though, you're not going to have an FHA. You are going to have a client that's putting more down. But there can also be challenges with that. So what would Michelle, would you think is your biggest hiccup for unique properties? Is it the appraisal that would potentially be the biggest hiccup?
Yeah. And comparables. I mean, just like you were saying, the cookie cutters are super easy, while a home on, 10 acres you have to obviously go further. You have to, I talk to the investors and let them know about the property, beforehand, what kind of problems might arise, what we could address, and
Sure.
talk to my referral partner, my agent on, do you have some other ones that are comparable to this in case the appraiser's looking? We want to be ready with that instead of scrambling and no, there's nothing else like this out there. So you just have to talk to underwriters and investors. My underwriters are all in-house. I can literally pick up the phone and call them and, send them the listing, have them take a look at it. Even before a pre-qualification is done, if somebody calls me and says, I found this house, I love it, it's a little different, and I say, send me the listing, I can get that up
Sure.
to an underwriter and, they'll make a determination on, yeah, I think we can make this work or this is going to
Right.
be rough, so
Yeah.
a little bit
Right.
of upfront work.
Earlier you said dome property. Tell me about that, like a dome home.
Do you know what a dome home is, or are you wanting to know
I want to
about?
know.
No? Okay. So there is not an abundance of them out in Arizona, but they are literally like a round home with not all of them, but they're light on top. So it's almost like it's not a greenhouse, but it has kind of the same concept. And there are, quite a few out here, but they're very open. So you don't have any walls or anything in some of them. Some of them have walls, and it's literally just a round home that somebody wants to live in. So they're for sure unique.
Awesome. I do know,
Yeah.
Lisa, if you're on I-10 heading west, kind of Waller, past what's the town? Shiner, those
Yeah.
towns, like you see some dome homes out there, and I think there might be a couple in Galveston even. So
I
interesting
know of
properties.
one in Galveston.
Yes, yes.
We are also, sorry to interrupt, we are also getting into very, very more of the Barndominiums.
Mm-hmm.
So those are becoming very common. They were super hard to loan on a couple years ago, and underwriters and investors are realizing they're great homes and they're becoming more popular. So I've kind of, been diving into those a little bit too. So I just want to throw that in there. Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Perfect.
There's plenty of Barndominiums here.
Yes.
There's a
And
lot.
container homes, that's a thing now. So
Yes.
what is that? I mean, I guess they have to, well, we have to start somewhere. And then when you do one, then it's easier to do, the second, the third, the fourth property. Have you done a container home or gotten a container home finance?
Not a container home. I have done a tiny home community. An investor came in, I believe it was over a year ago, but I believe he was from California, and he bought 40 acres and he divided them all up and put tiny homes on them and made this little community. It wasn't easy. I'm not going to lie. It wasn't easy. I had to find a specific investor to, get that one done. But as long as you meet, they were all on their own land. It wasn't, leased. It was, it was an actual home on the land that was owned, and we got them done. So that was it. That was a huge win.
Awesome. And then just recently at a breakfast lunch that or breakfast meeting that we have once a month, 3D Homes now is going to be the next wave.
Okay.
So they have a proprietary concrete mix. I don't know all the nuances of it. We're going to go to the warehouse in a couple of weeks and check it out. But they're building these 3D homes with machines now, but it's all concrete. So the insurability, all the things are supposed to be super, super amazing for the consumer. So I'm excited to get into more of that.
Are they less expensive?
I better start looking into that.
Yes. And I'll send you the link to the company that we visited or that came and spoke to us. And then maybe Lisa and I can plan to go to their warehouse and then we'll FaceTime you.
I would like to.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Cool. Okay. 2 final questions, ladies. Let's go with you, Lisa, first. So what advice or words of wisdom would you give your 22-year-old self?
My 22-year-old self. I have a lot to say to her, but we'll keep it simple. I think I would say to my 22-year-old self to trust herself sooner. I spent too much time worrying about whether I was qualified, whether I belonged in the room sometimes, whether I was making the right decisions. And the truth is that growth comes from taking chances. So I would trust my intuition sooner.
Yes.
I'd remind myself that not every setback is a failure. Sometimes things that don't work simply are redirecting you towards something better. But I think most importantly, I would tell myself that success isn't about achievement. It's about balance. And that's the thing that in the real estate world, we all struggle with is that balance between family and business, taking care of our clients. I mean, we lose sleep over whether or not you're going to get in your home tomorrow. So
Right.
it's like, and at 22, I was starting I was starting in this business. So I think I would tell myself that it is about balance. Some of the most important moments that I have weren't career milestones at all. They were, family moments. So yeah, that's what I would do.
Michelle?
That's what I tell myself.
Michelle, what would you tell your 22-year-old self?
Oh gosh, I was thinking about that this morning. I also have a lot, but very similar to Lisa's, I guess. But basically, and I have a 13-year-old. So I think back, on the lessons that I would have liked to learn, I guess, for myself. But work hard, take pride in your work, and don't, if you're going in, go all in. Make time for your family, your spouse, the things that you like. Because I found a spot in my career where I was losing myself. I put all into work and, I kind of forgot about myself, what I enjoyed, my sports, my writing, everything kind of went on the back burner, including my spouse, so you just have to think about all of those things and make time for all of it. I know it's easier said than done, but, time is a thief. So you have to treasure the moment with your spouse and your children and the things that you love. Do things that are fun, that make you happy. I just, there's a lot that you can lose with having a very, a career that needs you all the time. And that's what I would tell my 22-year-old self is just to take time for yourself, make time for your family, and still go all in on all of them, but you got to divide them up a little bit, I guess.
Absolutely. So beyond loans and transactions, what would you like to be remembered for?
Are we going with me?
Sure.
So I hope to leave behind, I guess, or be remembered as the loan officer who genuinely cared. And that is absolutely true with me. I can say beyond a doubt. I have cried with homeowners. I have, like Lisa said, I have not slept for days. I don't give up on any deal. If literally I'm kind of known for if I can't do it, I don't think there's anybody out there that can. I literally am relentless. I don't give up. So I know that homeownership changes lives, and whether you're a first-time homeowner, an investor, it all means the same. It might mean more to a first-time home buyer. It might mean, an investor's 10th property. They all mean a lot. And I guess what I want to be known for is helping those, dreams become a reality. So that's kind of what I want to be known for is just being there and being passionate and helping everybody.
Lisa?
Well, it's kind of funny because when that question was posed to me, Michelle and I had the exact same answer. I want to be remembered as, that I cared, that the impact that I say we, but the impact that I make on families, it's not just a transaction. I've met some of my best friends through real estate and through being clients, them coming to me for their loans. I just want them to know that, if someone that I worked with felt heard, respected, supported, and they're better off because of our interaction, because we've done business together, then I've done my job well. But more than anything, I care about their families. I care about whether or not the moving van is sitting there or whether or not they close. it's the biggest investment that they're going to make in their whole entire life. And we get to the honor of being able to provide that service for them. And I don't take that lightly at all. And even in the role that I play now, with being able to bridge gaps between, conversations and making sure that everybody is not stressed out and worried at the end. Like I said, if Michelle's working on a file and we've got another one that needs attention right away, picking up the phone and calling and discussing the issues that are going on, or the fact that it's going to be okay. There's a solution. We're going to walk you through it, but that's really what it's about. It's about caring sometimes more than they do. When I've had that where, you're like, okay, do you want to close or not? I'm here to help you with that. But it's, trust is earned one conversation at a time, one relationship at a time. And so if I can be remembered for, I cared about whether or not you got into this home and whether you picked the right home and whether you have the right financing with the right rate, all of that, then I consider that a success.
Awesome.
Can I tell a quick story that I didn't plan on this, but as she's talking, so real quick. So, it was right after COVID, I think maybe 2021 or so. I had a loan closing and everything was great and groovy and we had clear to close. They had already signed. We're waiting for the wire to go out, and the wire was coming from Texas, and you guys had a tornado or hurricane, whatever you get in Texas. And they obviously, everybody left and my wire never got sent out. And because they were, like hiding for their lives, we
were evacuating.
Yeah. So the wire never made it. Obviously people in Arizona were like, why is this not closing? And I had to explain it to them. Well, there was, moving vans, everything. I took in this whole family to my guest house, put them in there until we got the wire to go. They had dogs and horses and children, and I took them all into my home so they wouldn't have to get a hotel or, do what they got to do. And they stayed here until the wire went out and the home closed. So I don't know what made me think of that, but it was, it's like the things that you do to go above and beyond. And, not everybody would do that. I'm sure a lot would, but it was kind of a neat moment for me. And I'll tell you what, they became my friends, and I get referrals from them as, the best mortgage wrangler ever. So things like that, things you do like that are memorable.
Absolutely.
So there's my story.
And that makes us stand out too, right? That it's not just a transaction. It's not just a deal. It's not just we're investing emotionally in our clients or sometimes our friends in the beginning, but for sure friends afterwards.
Absolutely.
I want to add to that too. When we talk about the difference in the way that we do business and what stands, what sets us apart. Michelle's invested in having a business partner that is out here doing some of the networking and the talking and the social media and all the things that help realtors with their business, helps clients feel at ease. She's taking that and investing in that instead of just running out and asking for, a loan, which is not what we do. We want to provide a service at a higher level. So I kind of wanted to add to that because we care, because we want to make sure that, it's the best experience. There's so much joy when somebody buys a home. And the worst thing that can happen is for us to, as lenders or as agents, to steal that joy from them, by not communicating, by not doing, we want to make sure that this is a joyful experience for them. It can be stressful, but it can still be a lot of fun, and it can still be, you can still have solid foundation. But along with our business partners, you're not going to leave an agent hanging. If it's not going to close or if there's not a possibility, that phone is going to be picked up and we're going to talk to them immediately. And that's important.
And I will say thank you for the flyer. We don't have time to go into detail of the flyer. That'll be our next conversation.
Yes.
But once I posted the flyer, both of the properties did increase their activity. So I will say it was a great weekend. So thank you.
So that
Very
is
good.
exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to add value, provide things that you may not get, along with collaborating. In this market, and both in Arizona and in Texas, in this market, we're all here for collaborating. Let's
Right.
bump everybody up. That's the way
Yeah.
that the real estate industry should be. But that's what we're
Absolutely.
here to do. We're here to provide value as well.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you again. And in your honor, I just want to say thank you for tuning in to Bits by Bacon, and we will see you again.
Awesome.
Thanks for hanging out with me on Bits by Bacon. Be sure to follow, leave a review, and send this to that friend who always wants the inside scoop in and around the Houston area. I'll see you next time with more stories, real estate talk, and a little bit of everything in between. And remember, everybody loves bacon.